What if everything you thought you knew about a familiar story was just the surface, and a deeper, more intricate truth lay beneath?
Exactly. That's sort of the premise here.
We're diving into some really uncharted territory today, aren't we? Our sources, well, they immediately throw us into a narrative that deviates wildly from what most listeners probably expect.
They really do. For this deep dive, we're exploring a fascinating collection of source material excerpts from a fan fiction that daringly reimagines the early life of a very famous young wizard.
Okay.
And our mission really is to pull out those crucial moments, the hidden insights from these narratives. Offer you a kind of shortcut to understanding the layers here.
Layers is a good word for it.
Yeah, complete with the surprising facts, some quite emotional revelations too. We'll uncover how this young boy's life took a dramatically different path, fostered by unlikely alliances, deep personal bonds, and what that actually means for his journey.
Right. Let's kick things off with a pretty dramatic entrance. We jump right into a startling rescue. Harry Potter, our young wizard, finds himself in what's called a blasted room, his ruined living room in Surrey.
Not exactly a cozy start.
No. And then two unexpected figures arrive. A man with a crooked nose and shabby clothes named Remus, and Professor Snape, who Harry initially thinks is wearing a black dress.
Which is quite a first impression for Snape.
I'll say. Now, for anyone familiar with the original story, this is just a monumental departure from day one, isn't it?
It truly is, and what's fascinating is how quickly Harry connects with Remus, who's basically a stranger at this point.
Yeah.
He calls out, "Hello, I'm Harry, sir, who are you?" And Remus, seeing the resemblance to James, Harry's father, just feels this immediate, almost paternal pull. Snape, though, he's completely taken aback, like he's seen a ghost. It really sets the stage for these unexpected relationships right from the get-go.
And then right on cue, the iconic Petunia Dursley bursts in, absolutely furious. Yeah. She tries to snatch Harry's Hogwarts letter, shouting accusations about his mother, Lily. Things like, "When Lily died and this boy appeared on my porch, I promised myself and my husband that he will never go and become one of you."
Pretty intense, but Remus handles it.
He does. Without missing a beat, he just casts a silencio charm.
Leaving Petunia comically opening and closing her mouth, silenced.
Which must have been quite a sight.
You know, that silencio on Petunia is probably the moment every reader who fell for Harry has dreamed of. The source delivers some instant gratification there.
Definitely.
It says an 11-year-old Harry laughed out loud, so uncontrollably and unstoppable, even Sirius Snape began to laugh.
Wow, even Snape.
Even Snape. And beyond just being funny, this moment really symbolizes Harry's immediate break from years of emotional abuse. It's like the fan fiction is saying, look, liberation can be sudden, even comically absolute.
A powerful statement, yeah.
It sets a tone of agency Harry didn't really have before. Remus then just takes Harry's hand, and poof, they disappear.
Leaving Petunia and a, let's say, less than thrilled Snape behind to deal with Dumbledore.
Exactly. Snape drew the short straw there.
So, from that chaotic scene in Surrey, where does the source material take Harry next?
He's whisked away from that immediate chaos to an entirely different world. Potter Manor.
Potter Manor, okay.
It's described as a huge manor with sturdy stone walls, weathered by centuries of wind and rain, covered in this delicate tapestry of ivy.
Sounds impressive.
It is. And it's not just grand, it feels like a home. A huge contrast to his cupboard under the stairs, right?
Huge.
The inside is just as inviting. Thick wooden beams, uneven flagstones, warmed by tapestries and rugs. Harry even gets to pick his own room.
Really? What does he choose?
He picks one in gold and red colors with a forest and stars on the wall, and it has two big bookcases. This immediate sense of belonging, of choice, is a core deviation in this version of Harry's story.
It really grounds him differently from the start, and it doesn't take long for the first massive revelations to start pouring out, does it?
Not at all. Harry, still a bit confused, asks Remus, "Mr. Lupin, why am I here? And who are you?"
Understandable questions.
And Remus invites him to call him Remus, or Moony, as you called me when you were small, which naturally sparks Harry's curiosity. Moony.
Yeah, what's that about?
Well, this leads straight into Remus revealing his identity as a werewolf.
Whoa.
Which, as you know, are often feared as dark creatures in the wizarding world. But the crucial part here is Remus also reveals his deep, long-lost connection to Harry's parents.
Ah, okay, so that explains the instant connection Harry felt.
Exactly, despite the prejudice. And what's more, Harry meets Lermy.
Lermy.
A small, wrinkly creature, a house elf, who, it turns out, was Harry's nanny.
A house elf nanny. That's That's quite a twist. It changes the whole dynamic with house elves in this family.
It really does. And then comes the biggest bomb. Remus tells Harry, "You are the last alive heir of an ancient and old wizarding family."
Wow. What does that mean for Harry in this story, beyond just, a fancy title?
Well, it's not just a title. Being the last alive heir means Harry inherits not just wealth, but ancestral magic, political influence, ancient traditions, the whole package.
So they puts him on a completely different footing.
Immediately.
Yeah.
And it instantly puts him at odds with Dumbledore. Remus is quite passionate about this, saying, "Dumbledore took away your chances and mine, as well as a person who can help you, but I'm done with this old meddler."
Strong words.
Yeah. And Harry, remarkably, quickly forgives Remus for his absence, recognizing him now as his true savior. This revelation about Harry's standing, combined with Remus's immediate protective stance, sets up this central conflict: manipulation versus genuine guardianship.
That theme of hidden manipulations really comes through strongly, doesn't it? And it continues right away. The very next day, Harry and Remus head off to Gringotts, the wizarding bank.
Right, via Floo powder, which is described as a dizzying experience for Harry, span and span through the flames. Probably quite unsettling first time.
I imagine so. And when they arrive, his first encounter with the goblins is pretty memorable too, Griphook specifically.
Yeah, Griphook is described as small, no taller than 4 feet, with pale, leathery skin and long, slender fingers. His black, piercing eyes gleamed with cunning, and he has this air of quiet authority.
Sounds intimidating.
A bit, yeah. But Remus greets him very respectfully. "May your vaults always be secure and your treasures ever beyond reach." And Harry picks up on it quickly, bowing slightly too. It shows this respect for goblin culture, which is a subtle but important detail in this version.
And the whole purpose of their visit is critical. Reading Harry's parents' will and claiming his lordship. But here's where we get another shock from this fanfiction.
Yeah, this is a big one.
Dumbledore, it seems, had kept the Potter family will sealed for years.
Exactly. Griphook reveals this interference. He explains that to open it, Harry needs to do a heritage test.
How does that work?
A drop of his blood on a special yellow paper reveals his lineage, name, birthday, the works. And the goblins also mention they tried to contact Harry when he turned 11, but couldn't. Why? Because of Dumbledore's seal.
So it wasn't just about keeping Harry ignorant, it was about actively blocking his legal rights and inheritance too.
Precisely. It adds another layer to the manipulation narrative, showing how deep Dumbledore's control allegedly went in this story.
So Harry undergoes a test, takes his lordship, and formally appoints Remus as his guardian. How does Remus react when the will is finally read?
It hits him hard. The source says he covers his face and cries, realizing something he couldn't grasp before. He understands James and Lily trusted the wrong men and feels this immense guilt over not being there.
Oh, wow.
But it also strengthens his resolve. He's now fiercely determined to protect Harry. It's a clear turning point for him.
But the powers that be don't just let this happen smoothly, right? The ministry gets involved.
Right. They aren't just going to let Remus, a werewolf, become guardian without oversight. They quickly appoint an oversight liaison to monitor the whole arrangement.
And how does Harry feel about that?
Furious. Understandably. He tells Remus it feels just like being back in his cupboard. It's control, not freedom.
And Remus?
He's angry too. Feels like he's let Harry down again, that even now he can't fully protect him from this interference. This ministry oversight becomes this kind of persistent shadow, a reminder that Dumbledore's influence, or at least the system Dumbledore operated within, is still very much at play.
Okay, so even with these challenges, Harry starts settling into his new reality, and he starts forming some crucial bonds. We see his first trip for school supplies.
Yes, and at Madame Malkin's robes, for all occasions, he bumps into Hermione Granger.
The famous meeting, how does it go here?
It's quite sweet. He holds out his hand and says, "I am Harry Potter. Nice to meet you."
Straightforward.
And Hermione, ever the bookworm, whispers in awe, "Are you the Harry Potter?" They immediately hit it off, talking about magic, sharing ice cream at Florian Fortescue's. It's not just a casual meetup. This is the start of a real partnership. It's built on mutual respect for intellect and this shared sense of wonder. A huge contrast to the isolation Harry felt before.
It shows how quickly those supportive bonds can form when there's genuine connection.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And importantly, her parents, the dentist, are very supportive of their friendship, even though they're muggles.
Yeah.
This friendship becomes foundational for Harry.
Back at Potter Manor, things get, well, magical.
Yeah.
In a very literal sense. Harry performs a ritual to claim his family magic.
Yeah, this is a really unique element in this story. It's not just symbolic. He performs the Famulus Magicus ritual, says the incantation. cuts his palm with his new lordship ring.
Ouch. But for a magical purpose.
Definitely. The blood goes into a basin, it glows, intensifies into this molten golden light.
And then
a golden griffin appears, roars, and fuses with Harry.
Fuses with him. What does that do?
It grants him powerful, unique protection, specifically against hostile potions and mental intrusion. It's a magical safeguard the fanfiction introduces as a direct benefit of claiming his family legacy, a tangible power boost.
That's fascinating. So he's got this new protection, a new best friend, and he's starting to learn about his past too, right? From Remus.
Yes, Remus starts filling in those huge gaps. He shares these intimate details about James Potter, Harry's father.
What does he say?
He paints a picture of a man who is confident, clever, and always full of energy. Fiercely loyal, incredibly brave.
Just like a good guy.
Remus really emphasizes his loyalty as a friend. He reveals how James and Sirius actually became animagi wizards who can turn into animals specifically to keep Remus company safely during his werewolf transformations.
Wow, that's incredible dedication.
Isn't it? Remus tells Harry he'd do anything for his friends, for the people he loved. He loved fiercely, and he never let anyone face the dark parts of life alone. It gives Harry this really positive image of his dad.
And what about Lily, his mother?
Remus describes her as incredible, with a real fire in her. She hated injustice, was a natural leader, and made everyone around her feel like they mattered. He points out how she balanced James's recklessness.
A strong partnership.
Definitely. And listening to all this, Harry feels his deep connection. The source says he wished he had friends who would speak so passionately about him one day. It's crucial for his sense of identity, finally getting a real feel for his parents' character.
That makes sense. He also learns more about Remus himself, including his vulnerabilities.
Yes, specifically the full moon transformations. Remus warns Harry, asks him to promise me that you will stay on this side of the house and won't look for me during that time.
And Harry's reaction?
Just a simple, I promise, Moony. It shows this deep trust and maturity that's already growing between them. A really touching moment, showing that bond solidifying, adopted father and son, really.
Okay, our deep dive now plunges into some more complex wizarding magic and some darker shadows starting to gather. Harry begins these unusual lessons with Professor Snape.
Right, learning legilimency and occlumency.
Can you quickly remind us what those are?
Sure. Legilimency is basically mental intrusion, reading thoughts, memories. Occlumency is the defense against that shielding your mind.
Got it. And Snape is teaching him. That sounds tense.
It probably is. But the source says Snape, despite his usual demeanor, is a reluctant but effective teacher. It's Remus who pushes for it, wanting Harry and Hermione to learn these skills for protection. He sees the dangers ahead.
Proactive defense, not just reactive.
Exactly. And it turns out Harry has a hidden talent for this stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, he shows a natural aptitude for legilimency. Snape even notes his uncanny knack for protective wards and describes his mental shield as slippery, like a snake shedding skin.
Slippery like a snake. Interesting phrasing. Does that connect to anything?
It does, hugely. This hidden gift is then linked to his ancestors, Celine Potter and Aulfric Potter, who were both Parseltongues.
Parseltongues. People who can talk to snakes. But isn't that usually linked to, you know?
Voldemort. Yes, in the original stories, it's heavily associated with dark magic because of him. But this fanfiction offers a really profound reinterpretation. It reveals Harry's Parseltongue isn't from Voldemort at all. It's actually a latent sleeping gift, passed down through his own Potter lineage.
Wow. So it severs that tie completely.
Completely. It reframes it as family heritage, not a mark of the Dark Lord. This gives Harry this immense sense of relief and, importantly, belonging to his true family.
That's a massive shift in his self-perception. But even with these positive developments, Dumbledore's presence or influence still looms large, right?
Oh, yes. The narrative details his continued efforts to restrict Remus's visits and contact with Harry at school, always citing safety and control as his reasons.
Which doesn't sit well with Remus.
Not at all. It just fuels his growing suspicion and anger. Remus becomes firmly convinced Dumbledore has been lying and interfering with Harry's life for years. He even says, I'm not going to follow his orders anymore. He lost my allegiance when he lied to me about Harry.
He's drawing a line.
He is. And as an extra protective measure, Remus even sets Pipsy, a house elf, to follow Harry around everywhere at Hogwarts. A direct counter-move to Dumbledore's perceived control.
Sneaky. Okay, now we get into the echoes of the Dark Lord himself. Harry and Hermione make a dangerous discovery about Professor Quirrell.
Right. They realize he's connected to Voldemort and is after the Philosopher's Stone.
How do they figure this out?
They actually trail Quirrell into the Forbidden Forest at one point. They see him kneeling beside a falling unicorn, and there's this dark, shadowy figure whispering to him.
Chilling. Clear sign Voldemort's lurking.
Definitely. Remus contacts the goblins about this, and they confirm the stone is at Hogwarts. They call it an object that resonates with alchemical properties. And crucially, they add, the soul fragment is growing restless.
Confirming it's Voldemort's fractured soul seeking the stone to get a body back.
Exactly. Which leads to a pivotal moment for Harry. A final visit to the Goblin Hospital.
Why there?
This is where they extract the piece of Voldemort's soul, the Horcrux, from his scar.
They can do that. How?
Using ancient goblin magic. The source says it causes Harry discomfort, understandably, but it's ultimately successful.
And the result?
Transformative. Harry feels lighter, finally free from that dark burden. It's a physical and emotional liberation from the connection to Voldemort. A major, major divergence from the canon story where that link persists for years.
Huge implications. And then comes another massive revelation, this one shaking up the past. It involves the Weasleys, surprisingly.
Yeah. Yes. During a visit, Remus learns about Ron's pet rat, Scabbers. And something clicks.
What clicks?
He remembers James's will mentioning Peter Pettigrew as a betrayer, recalls a faint, familiar scent he'd dismissed earlier. And then he asks Harry and Hermione about the rat's missing toe.
The missing toe. Peter Pettigrew's defining feature after he faked his death.
Bingo. Remus puts it all together and reveals, because that rat isn't just a rat, that's Peter Pettigrew, the real betrayer of Harry's parents.
Unbelievable. Finding him hiding as a pet rat all these years.
It's shocking. And exposing him has immediate, massive consequences.
Sirius Black.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Peter's capture leads directly to the release of Sirius Black from Azkaban. His name is finally cleared. It's this moment of profound justice, years delayed, and again, a huge deviation that completely reshapes Harry's future family.
So, Pettigrew exposed, Sirius freed. What's the next big step for Remus and Harry?
Remus takes a truly momentous step. He decides to formally adopt Harry by Muggle ways.
Making it official, legally and emotionally.
Yes. And to solidify this fresh start, he purchases a Muggle house near the Grangers for safety, for normalcy.
A deliberate move away from the magical world's dangers.
Seems like it. The source says Harry finally has a proper home that feels safe and loved. They even make the difficult decision to sell Potter Manor and the ruins at Godric's Hollow.
Really? Selling Potter Manor?
Yeah. Choosing to build new memories together in their new, quieter sanctuary. It's a conscious choice for a peaceful life over the grandeur and perhaps the baggage of his wizarding heritage.
That speaks volumes. This whole journey seems to culminate in this profound sense of belonging for Harry, doesn't it?
Absolutely. The bond between Remus and Harry deepens incredibly. There's a moment where Harry calls Remus Dad for the first time.
Oh, wow. How does Remus react?
The source describes him freezing, his breath catching, feeling shock, sadness, and an overwhelming tenderness. He tells Harry he's honored.
That's the emotional heart of it right there.
He really is. The payoff for everything they've been through.
And what about Sirius? He's free, but how does he fit into this new dynamic?
Sirius needs time to heal. Azkaban took a heavy toll. He actually admits to Remus, I think I am not ready to be a godfather for him. I need time to heal.
That's very self-aware.
It is. But crucially, he accepts Remus's role as Harry's father. He nods in approval when Remus tells him adopting Harry was the best decision, adding, he is amazing, and now Dumbledore can't stand in the way. There's an understanding there, prioritizing Harry's well-being above everything.
So Harry, throughout this incredibly tumultuous year, undergoes quite a transformation.
A massive one. He starts as this scared, underweight boy who, the source notes, had a lot of bad healed bones and was bound magically, hinting at neglect and possibly restrictive charm.
Awful. But by the end,
he's become a confident, magically skilled young wizard. He has that uncanny knack for protective wards, is apparently the best at magic, according to Remus, and most importantly, has a clear sense of self and purpose.
And Hermione's role in this?
She's a constant, a source of unwavering support. Her intelligence, her loyalty, they're vital to Harry navigating everything. She's that brilliant friend, always ready with research or just quiet companionship. Their bond really highlights that theme of chosen family that runs so deep in this narrative.
So as the year draws to a close in this version of the story, Harry's situation is completely different.
Completely. His newfound happiness and sense of belonging are palpable. He has a father who cared, a best friend who stood by him, and a place that finally felt like home.
It sounds like, despite all the chaos and the shocking revelations, this year was genuinely positive for him in this timeline.
The source explicitly says it was the best year of his life, cementing this idea that happiness for this Harry is no longer something fleeting or out of reach.
We've certainly journeyed through a remarkable, reimagined year in the life of this young wizard. We've seen how trust was broken and then painstakingly rebuilt.
Yeah, how hidden talents emerged, things like the Parseltongue being a family gift, not a curse.
And how chosen family Remus, Hermione, eventually Sirius, became this sanctuary against manipulation and danger.
It really underscores the power of those close, supportive relationships.
So this deep dive, I think it reveals that sometimes the true path to freedom and belonging isn't found in grand prophecies or, inherited power alone.
Right. It's maybe more about the courage to challenge the narratives you're given, to embrace unexpected allies.
And to cultivate that fierce loyalty with the people who truly see you and support you.
Well put. It makes you wonder, doesn't it?
It does. What unexpected connections or hidden truths might be waiting to be uncovered, maybe, in your own familiar stories? Something to think about.